Hello and welcome to the WWPC tournament thingy. This is the 1900 bracket. And who do we have here? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have Pachuriko, the defending champion of this tournament. I hesitate to call it a tournament because apparently it's just a best of 5. But anyway, he's the defending champion, and his challenger is Zock. So the first map is Open Palms, both are Cybern, and if you remember, these were the same two players that were in the Insanity Cup 1v1 final, so making another appearance here. Looks like Zock will rush to the Hydro. Pachuriko, same kind of deal, and it is a best of 5, so we are guaranteed at least 3 games, and we've got Open Palms to start out with. This is live, so I can probably knock it up to +1, but not much more than that, because eventually we're going to start catching up to the game. We wouldn't want that to happen, would we? So, Pachuriko, 2 engineers and a scout directly to the Hydro. Zock, same thing. Actually, 3 engineers to the Hydro, so even more build power on that. It's going to have the equivalent of 5 engineers building that once his ACU gets into the mix. Lots of build power there. Pachuriko with some manual reclaim. This is Open Palms. Why does the game sound so quiet? It sounds very quiet to me, but we'll see. Maybe that's not, maybe I'm just hearing things, I don't know. Pachuriko with a scout to control the middle in terms of intel. No units will be sneaking up on him. So the only avenue for Zock now is through the sides, at least where Pachuriko will not detect it. So a little bit of map cut off there. And he's got an air factory coming up. Pachuriko, second air from Zock as well. He already has his air factory, so a bit quicker. You remember how much build power he had on his Hydro. Bomber first from him, scout first from Pachuriko, so he will be able to spot any bombers that come through the middle, especially with this scout. Lots of manual reclaim coming down for Zock. This is the sign of somebody who has APM to burn in the early game. He's going to maximize his tree reclaiming potential. Same thing from Pachuriko. And the scout, did it spot the bomber? It did. Actually, the land scout might have spotted it. Interceptor is now out for Pachuriko. Should have no problems killing that off. The scout comes in from Zock, so he might be able to get a bomb off here. Indeed he does, so 1 engineer down at least. And will he be able to micro and get another bomb off? Yes, he does, but Pachuriko just stops his engineer there. Another bomb is off, though. This one was off-centered, though. So only 1 engineer actually killed there from Zock, but good pressure on Pachuriko's base. Forces him into a little bit of micro early on. Some cheating going on from Pachuriko. Might have been unintentional, but we're going to see air control now swing towards Pachuriko. He's outnumbering Zock in these little engagements here. He's actually going to go patrol over the air factory, wanting to deny any air that Zock has. And Zock gets behind him here. He actually is going to finish off 1 interceptor, so Zock played that well. He's going to get behind him again, it looks like. So air control will suddenly shift towards Zock. However, Pachuriko using land units now to raid on 1 expansion. Seems like a matter of time before he loses this engineer. Zock making an aggressive ACU push and using an engineer to secure in the back. So that's a good idea from Zock. Pachuriko will completely deny the top right. Not ideal for Zock at all here. Zock not quite denying the entire bottom left, as Pachuriko will control these mexes for a while. Not sure if Zock actually knows about them. He doesn't. This one Mantis will discover the presence of Pachuriko very soon. So that won't stay alive for too long, I don't think. The ACU can easily be redirected over there. He's got enough units that are run by, wouldn't be too disastrous. See a Mantis from Pachuriko took out a Mex there. Pachuriko now has units moving into the vicinity of Zock's base. Wants to put further pressure on him. And these Manti are making a beeline. Ha, my name is Beekeeper. They're making a beeline towards the engineer in the back from Pachuriko. The thing is, though, with the Mantis in the area, they won't be alive for long enough to do any significant damage. And the exact same push happening from Pachuriko on the right with his ACU coming up. So we'll see how this works out for both players. Looks like they will control each other's expansions. So it will be 2 against 2. Zock is a little bit faster, and so he will be able to take these mexes and build a factory there. Pachuriko is not even in position to do that, so say Zock is ahead of him in that regard. He's also denying the rear expansion. Pachuriko wants to deny this, but good protection for this engineer from Zock. 3 against 1, no chance for Pachuriko's Mantis there. And these Mantis are coming in now, but good response from Pachuriko, just keeps his Mantis or his Manti in the area as well. The battle for the middle is starting. We have radar, accidentally 2 radars from Zock. We'll spot an engineer coming in. So an energetic opening to the game, and it's hard to see which player actually has an advantage here. Pachuriko looks like he has air control, but he's lost his back expansion and he will start losing mexes on the right, so not ideal for him. Zock has control of those 3 mexes, and as well as this expansion down here. So you have to say Zock does have more map control, but this push here could go a long way towards changing that, and Pachuriko will use a transport to drop onto this ledge here and take that upper plateau. That's going to be quite a lot of mass for him, as these plateaus not only have the 3 max points, but they also have quite a lot of reclaimable tree groups. So they are quite valuable in that regard as well. Point defense going to work on these Manti. The walls doing their job. 7 kills for the point defense, 8 now. That's actually an excellent block from Zock there. Keeps the Manti away. Didn't lose anything there, actually. Just going to be a failed attack from Pachuriko. And Zock now takes control over the middle mexes. So definitely the control of this game is switching towards Zock in some ways. Will he get this point defense up? Because actually he's not outnumbered here. So he should be able to defend here rather easily from the 3 Manti. It's just going to continue to be a battle here between the Manti in the middle, and looks like Pachuriko is thinking about making something happen here. He's going to start advancing towards the middle, wants to gain more map control there, realizes that still a little bit behind. Sees Zock climbing ahead in mass count, at least temporarily. Pachuriko does drop in the back to get those mexes back online. Zock actually manages to sneak an engineer in here, so he will control those mexes. Actually, no, they got shot by artillery, but that was a good idea from Zock. ASU now retreating from Zock. And problems for Pachuriko. Zock has units right in his base, and after killing a mex, they will now retreat and split up. It's an excellent raid from Zock, and no problems at all defending his back mexes. Pachuriko does have undisputed control of 1 ledge, but you can see Zock here constructing a factory on the upper ledge to create a base here. So it will be even in terms of the ledges. And once again, an engineer denied from doing anything from Pachuriko. The mexes are up, but that Mantis plus these reinforcing Mantis will kill those off yet again. So Zock still raiding quite nicely. Point defense says doing their job, defending the points. You can see the range creates quite a nice overlap here, so that it's difficult for Pachuriko to push in. And Zock will now use his ACU in the middle of the map here to fend off these units. I'm not sure if Pachuriko is actually aware of that. Tech 2 land from Zock, more Tech 2 factories coming up, and Tech 2 land from Pachuriko as well. So we have firmly transitioned away from this Tech 1 spam war. And this is very cheeky from Zock. Gets a point defense up by these 2 mexes, so it's going to be difficult for Pachuriko, but he does actually have the gun upgrade. So take back what I just said. It's going to be Pachuriko pushing in with a gun upgrade. And depending on whether or not he has the stealth, this could be difficult to deal with. He does not have the stealth yet. More raids from Zock coming in. It's a very evenly matched game. You see both players will control the ledge on which they control, on the side of the map on which they control the 2 expansions. So it's a very symmetrical divide here across the middle. However, the difference in this game so far has been this back expansion, which Pachuriko just cannot seem to control. Zock continuously pushing in there, and a wall coming up for Zock, but Pachuriko uses artillery to break through the defenses. We'll see what he can do here. These rhinos are ripe to be overcharged if Pachuriko were so inclined. He's not going to do that now. ASU a little bit out of position. The Mantis could actually come all the way over here. Looks like he's going to recover in time, though. See, such an even game here. And Zock will have to think quickly here to protect his expansion. He's got to get his units in support. As Pachuriko is pushing with quite a few units here, but you can see all these unclaimed mechs points on Pachuriko's side. Not as many problems in that regard for Zock. Pachuriko is denying a little bit, but not too much. This is actually a very interesting game here. The Rhinos will mop up the Tech 1 without problems, you would think. The point defense is actually down here, so these mechs will fall. Will at least reduce the mass deficit for a little bit. More power for Zock. It looks like we've caught up to the real game speed, so we'll let it catch up a little bit. Upgrade coming up for Zock. This is going to be the gun as well. He wants to match Pachuriko pound for pound here. Tech 2 P-Gen also going up. You'd have to think this is difficult on his power. It is. Especially with all this build power he's putting. He should probably pause that P-Gen. It is taking power to produce that. Suddenly Pachuriko pushing back quite significantly. He managed to get this factory up with that one engineer. That pretty much makes it impossible for Zock to push in here again. Still was a very nice denial throughout the game though from Zock. The problem with these ledges is that, well, it's not exactly a problem, but these players are not really able to utilize them. Generally you can use them to construct mobile missile launchers and so on. Each player controls that entire side of the map because this is not exactly conventional for this map. Zock will have to rebuild these mechs quickly. He still does have a mass advantage over Pachuriko. This power gen is almost up. It's going to be a lot of power for him. And Tech 2 air as well for Zock, so he's got Tech 2 gunships on the field. And he won't have any problems defending his base now with his gunned ACU. Pachuriko now catching up in power. Lots of Tech 2 production from him as well. And every move is finely calculated here. The Renegade going to work on some Manti. With gunships, Zock suddenly has mobility to attack the map. He can raid these mechs, he can attack the ledge if he so chooses. Some more options for Zock. But I don't see Tech 2 air from Pachuriko. So that's going to have to be dealt with in some other way. We see Tech 1 anti-air turrets coming up. And Zock also decides to attack the ledge. And Tech 1 anti-air being produced here from Pachuriko. Unless another Renegade joins the fight, it's going to be difficult for Zock to kill off everything here. Zock still retains very nice control over his side. See, his Rhinos will keep Pachuriko's forces in check on this side. Turret, an anti-air turret will shoot down this bomber. No problem at all, so air power will be limited from Pachuriko there. This battle now heating up between the Renegades and the Sky Slammers, but they're not really targeting the anti-air units as they should be. Trying to deny the units as they come out of the factory, but it's just not working out too well. Now the ACUs kick off a battle here. Both have very similar kill counts. This will be a critical battle, in fact, because with nothing happening on the left, it's going to be whether or not Zock can push Pachuriko off of this side. If he can, Zock will have a huge advantage. If he can't, Pachuriko will have quite a lot of reclaim. So we'll have to see how this battle goes. Mass count almost identical, power almost identical. So nothing will be settled in terms of economy now. It's going to be about how well these players utilize their map control. Now Renegade's going around the side for Zock. Just one anti-air turret here for Pachuriko. So a surprise attack is possible. And Zock looks to be winning this battle between the Renegades and the anti-air, although he did lose that one there. So you see, this is what Zock is able to do with his Renegades. He's able to split them up and take out economy all over the map from Pachuriko. Just continuing to amass his gunships here. Pachuriko should probably think about making more air. He's got way more power now that this T2 P-Gen was completed. So you can easily afford to outspam Zock in air, you would think. Interesting. Hydro unclaimed for Zock. That must have been the 100 power difference that we saw earlier. Now the power lead is extended, but the mass lead is extended for Zock because of these gunships doing so much good work. And he did scout this area, so he knew about the Tech 1 anti-air turret. And he's just going to take out the mexes, so he's really not here for the long term. It's just that every time he takes out one of these mexes, he gives himself a tiny advantage, and over time those advantages do add up. Flak now massacring the gunship, so Pachuriko responding to the air threat. And Flak here as well, so the gunship will have to be careful. Still nice use of air from Zock though. Looks like this battle really sort of died out Neither player wanted to engage, and now it's Zock pushing. Well, actually, both players pushing through the middle. See just how much reclaim there is here. Zock's still working on reclaiming all of it. Lots of power to be had, lots of mass to be had, and he's completely wiped out the ledge from Pachuriko. In fact, you could probably build a factory here with these engineers and take that for himself if he so chose. And this is a major victory for Zock here, pushing up the middle. He's going to gain quite a lot of reclaim, and a tactical missile launcher going up now. There is significant TMD from Pachuriko, but it's an extra threat now. And Pachuriko chooses now to move in while Zock's ACU is elsewhere. The gunships are trying to do something, but there is flak. One gunship is down, the other's moving away. And Tech 3 land now coming up for Zock. Do we see that from Pachuriko? No, we do not. So Zock also going to Tech 3 land first. Pachuriko now has surpassed him in economy. It must be through teching of mexes, but that doesn't last very long. Must have just been a large chunk of reclaim. Zock reasserts his dominance in the mass game because you can see all the unclaimed mexes yet again. But this is a problem because Pachuriko can now push in. Zock, while he's going to Tech 3, he doesn't have as many Tech 2 units as Pachuriko does. So that is a window of opportunity for Pachuriko if he wants to start attacking. However, this is still a big problem for him. And the ledge is a big loss as well. It's going to be a big push from Pachuriko. I'm not sure if he plans to win the game right here. He might be planning to do that. Loyalists now coming out for Zock. The problem is with the ACU so close, they would be ripe for overcharging. Tech 1 point defense is being thrown up now for Zock. And he doesn't have that many units here. This is a bit disturbing for the Zock camp. He's got a Loyalist. He's going to need to do some serious overcharging, and he needs these Tech 1 point defenses to hold out. Looks like it died and stunned all the units from Pachuriko. And it's just a huge push here. The Loyalists continue to be overcharged, causing significant stunning when they die. And it looks like that move to Tech 3 was a big mistake from Zock. Of course, it's easy for me to say that, but suddenly he's gone from having the advantage to having his base run over because Pachuriko simply had more units. Looks like Zock also might have thrown his units away slightly in the middle. Or I thought it was a good victory for him. It's a lot different. I didn't realize he was going for Tech 3 land. And with the issue in close proximity, there was no chance of his Tech 3 land being able to hold off this push. And Pachuriko suddenly has an enormous advantage here. Very, very difficult for Zock to hold on at this point. He's lost air. He's about to lose his base. Now his power is under attack by the bombers. So you have to say it's looking good for Pachuriko to win game 1. Zock did have the advantage throughout most of that, but suddenly it's completely switched. No Tech 3 land from Pachuriko, but he had more rhinos than the Loyalists could handle. And with all this power going down, there's really no doubt anymore. Zock probably doesn't have the capability to make things anymore. He's trying to spam up power in the back, so it's a good idea, but you can see how much he's stalling. Very, very difficult now. He would need to somehow kill off all this and then get his Tech 3 land online. But really, this is not going to go very well. And as I suspected, the game has already ended. We're just watching the conclusion here, so I'm going to speed it up to +10. And really not much more to see. All these bombers and all this stuff is going to start converging on Zock. Quite spectacular, actually. How many bombers is this? 44. Yeah, 44 bombers. It's a lot of bombers. And so Pachuriko will take game 1 in this best of 5. And we'll see what the next map is and who wins that match. So see you guys shortly.